and welcome to Little Learners. In this video I am going to be using the terms parent and carer. I just want to say that when I'm using either of those terms I'm referring to any caregiver for a child, whether they're the parent or not. This video is sponsored by our friends at Child Paths and we'll be hearing more about them later in the video. Getting an idea of how a child is doing outside of their early years setting is crucial to develop a really deep understanding of that child and their development. Therefore, parental involvement and communication between the setting or school and the parent or carer is vital. However, there are often some barriers with this. For practitioners, it can be really difficult to know how to get parents involved. It can be really difficult to keep in touch with parents, especially if they don't do drop-off and pick-up. You need information from them, but how do you get it? The flip side of this is practitioners having enough time to support those parents who want information and they want it a lot. For parents and carers, it can be difficult to know how to support your child at their current stage of development. You might want guidance from your child's setting about how to do things at home, but you're not sure how to ask, or you're not sure which questions to even ask. Or maybe you're struggling to get in contact with them because you don't do drop-off and pick-up. Although parents do remember that that's the whole point of this channel, so if you need help with your child's education, I'm here for you. Whether you're a parent or a practitioner, communication is really important. So here are 5 ways that we can promote parental engagement. Number 1, I did this cards. Schools and settings can send home cards, maybe about this big of paper, that parents and carers can write on at home. The idea of this is that when the child does something outside of the setting that the parent wants you to know about, they can write it down and bring it in. You can then keep that as evidence as well. So examples of these things might be, she took her first steps today, or today he read 3 pages of his reading book all by himself. Or maybe something that you don't normally get to see or know about. So maybe they moved up class in their swimming lessons because they're doing so well. All of this helps us to create a bigger picture for the child and allows us to understand them even more. Number 2, invite parents and carers into your setting, although not all at once. Having a parent helper can be great. Allow them to see what goes on during the day and to help out with different activities. If you're a parent or carer watching this, I would strongly urge you to take this opportunity if your child's setting allows it. It really gives you a look at your child's world that you don't really get to see during the day. Number 3, use a platform like Child Paths, our sponsor of today's video. I mentioned in a previous video the range of things that Child Paths can do. This is a really easy all-in-one system that really makes record keeping so much easier, but it also can make communication between setting and parent a lot easier too. With Child Paths, you can record and share observations. You can record observations easily, link them to previous observations to show progression, share with parents if you want to, add photos, link to the EYFS, add documents like Birth to 5 Matters, and even more. Anything you could think of that you want to have in an observation is available through Child Paths. They've really thought of everything. You can also record milestones with Child Paths to give you a general idea of how children are doing and what their next targets might be, which can be really, really helpful when you're trying to work out the individual targets for each child. Parents can not only see observations, but they can also write messages to practitioners and teachers, which means no more notes going missing from children's bags. Parents can update their child's profile to include allergies, comforts, who can pick up, all with ease. Parents can also receive a daily log to get real-time updates on nappy changes, sleep, and more. So a lot of the time when we talk about parental involvement with a setting, communication is a huge barrier, but Child Paths is kind of helping with that to make it so much easier for settings and parents to communicate. Parents can see what their child's been doing in the setting whenever there's a new observation. They can update their child's profile. They can see what their child's been doing in the day, see how many wet nappies they've had that day. And they can message the setting, and everything is all in one app. Child Paths is making communication between settings and parents and carers so much easier. One login. That's all you need, one login. No more multiple logins written in different notebooks and trying to remember which one is for which and reminding parents and carers which one they need to use for this and which one they need to use for this. Everything is in one. Thank you to ChildPaths for sponsoring today's video. Let's get on to the next tip. Number 4, make meetings easy. You could use something like ChildPaths to message with parents and parents to message with practitioners to book meetings. It might also be useful for practitioners to kind of advertise to parents and carers the days and times that you are available to have meetings. And also remember that offering video calls, if possible, can be really helpful for those parents who won't be able to get to the setting during the day to have a meeting, so they can do it remotely and still be in contact with you. Number 5. Offer time for parents and carers to come into the setting to interact with their child using your resources. Now, this is different to having a parent helper come in. We have to remember that many children and their parents don't have the resources at home that we have access to in our settings. They don't have access to lots of reading books or developmentally appropriate resources at home. They maybe can't afford to keep replenishing their resources at home. And so inviting parents and carers to come in every so often to just play with their child in your setting and use your resources can be so helpful. It can allow the parent to feel as though they are really getting that quality learning time with their child, and of course playtime, it's the same thing. And it can really strengthen the bond between the parent and carer and the setting. The child gets to show off what they like most about their setting, and the parent gets to really be involved in what they're doing. They get to use reading books that they don't get to use at home. It can just be really beneficial for everyone involved. Actually, I have a 6th tip, so a little bonus tip for you. If language is a barrier between the setting and the parent, it's really important that the setting does everything they can to make sure that the parent feels involved with the setting's community and understands everything that's going on, whether that's finding an interpreter, having letters home also written in the parent's native language. Rather than just saying, oh, well, we don't speak the same language, there's not a lot we can do, it is our responsibility as practitioners to make sure that we are doing our absolute best to communicate with parents and carers from any kind of background and with any type of language barrier. If you got this far into the video, please comment below your tip for getting parents involved or your favourite ice cream flavour, because that will just confuse people and then they'll want to watch the whole video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you again to ChildPaths for sponsoring this video and just for making a platform that is really benefiting parents and settings. Don't forget to visit my website, littlelearners.education. You can book a video call with me, or you can just find out more information about early years on there. I will see you next time.